We delivered justice to bin Laden. We degraded the terrorist threat of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And after 20 years of valor, and sacrifice, it's time to bring those troops home. Look, even as we do, we'll maintain over the rising capacity to suppress future threats to the homeland. And make no mistake, in 20 years, terrorism has metastasized. The threat has evolved way beyond Afghanistan. Those of you in the intelligence committees, the foreign relations committee, defense committees, you know well. So I could look her in the eye. She looked at me, she said, "My daddy changed the world." Well, after the conviction of George Floyd's murderer, we can see how right she was if we have the courage to act as a Congress. We've all seen the knee of injustice on the neck of Black Americans. Now's our opportunity to make some real progress. The vast majority of men and women wearing a uniform and a badge serve our communities, and they serve them honorably. I know them. I know they want. I know they want to help meet this moment as well. My fellow Americans, we have to come together to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people they serve, to root out systemic racism. I know Republicans have their own ideas and are engaged in very productive discussions with Democrats in the Senate. We need to work together to find a consensus. But let's get it done next month, by the first anniversary of George Floyd's death. The country supports this reform, and Congress should act. We have a giant opportunity to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice, real justice. And with the plans outlined tonight, we have a real chance to root out systemic racism that plagues America and American lives in other ways. A chance to deliver real equity, good jobs, good schools, affordable housing, clean air, clean water, being able to generate wealth and pass it down to generations because you have access to purchase a house. One to pass the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to protect Asian American and Pacific Islanders. You acted decisively. You can see on television the viciousness of the hate crimes we've seen over the past year and for too long. I urge the House to do the same and send that legislation to my desk, which I will gladly, anxiously sign. I also hope Congress, for all transgender Americans watching at home, especially young people, you're so brave. I want you to know your president has your back. Another thing, let's authorize the Violence Against Women Act, which has been law for 27 years. 27 years ago, I wrote it. It'll close the act that has to be authorized now. Will close the boyfriend loophole to keep guns out of the hands of abusers. The court order said this is an abuser. You can't own a gun. It's to close that loophole that existed. You know, it's estimated that 50 women are shot and killed by an intimate partner every month in America. 50 a month. Let's pass it and save some lives. And I need not tell anyone this, but gun violence has become an epidemic in America. The flag at the White House was still flying at half-mast for the 8 victims of the mass shooting in Georgia, when 10 more lives were taken in the mass shooting in Colorado. And in the week in between those two events, 2 150 other Americans were shot dead in the streets of America. 250. Abandoned assault weapons and high-capacity magazines that hold 100 rounds that can be fired off in seconds. Look. I don't want to become confrontational, but we need more Senate Republicans to join the overwhelming majority of Democratic colleagues and close the loopholes required in background. Comprehensive immigration bill to the United States Congress. If you believe we need to secure the border, pass it because it has a lot of money for high-tech border security. If you believe in a pathway to citizenship, pass it. So we're 11 million undocumented folks, the vast majority of here overstaying visas. So if you actually want to solve a problem, I've sent a bill to take a close look at it. We also have to get at the root problem of why people are fleeing, particularly to our southern border from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. The violence, the corruption, the gangs, the political instability, hunger, hurricanes, earthquakes, natural disasters. When I was president, when I was vice president, the president asked me to focus on providing help needed to address the root causes of migration. And it helped keep people in their own countries instead of being forced to leave. The plan was working, but the last administration decided it was not worth it. I'm restoring the program and asked Vice President Harris to lead our diplomatic effort to take care of this. I have absolute confidence she'll get the job done. Look, if you don't like my plan, let's at least only known America as their home. And permanent protection for immigrants who are here on temporary protective status and came from countries beset by man-made and natural-made violence and disaster, as well as the pathway to citizenship. Immigrants have done so much for America during this pandemic and throughout our history. The soul of America, we need to protect the sacred right to vote. Most people more people vote no. The country supports it, and Congress should act now. Look, in conclusion, as we gather here tonight, the image of a violent mob assaulting this Capitol, desecrating our democracy could survive, and it did. But the struggle is far from over. The question of whether our democracy, we can do whatever we set our mind to if we do it together. So let's begin to get together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you for your patience.
There you have it, President Biden, his first address to a joint session of Congress. Speaker of the House, Nancy representing history behind the president tonight. He started his speech, in fact, by saying, Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President. He said, no president has ever said those words, and it's about time. He then quickly turned to the century, a list of accomplishments he believes in his first 100 days, the vaccinations, the $1,400 checks. He then turned to infrastructure and jobs and made the case for his plan to rebuild roads and bridges. He says create millions of jobs across this country, getting a slap on the back there, a pat on the back from Senator Bernie Sanders, who did like what he heard. Senator Elizabeth Warren also on her feet a number of times as he laid out his jobs plan. He then turned to his American Families Plan, where he talked about paid medical leave, paid family leave, child care,